Good morning. This is our history lesson. It is Geography of the Mountain Region. It's the second lesson in our new history unit. Do you remember the name of the states, the number of states that we're memorizing? There are 8 states. You know what they are? Quick, cover the screen and see if you can say them. I know surely you can. Pause and see if you can say them, and then look again. So we have Montana. We learned that was the northernmost state. Do you remember? Then we have Idaho, Wyoming, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. I want you to study them if you weren't able to say them. I want you to know all 8 of them. Right, let's look at our 2 new vocabulary words. Our first one is to adapt. Adapt means to change to fit a situation. For instance, we have had to adapt to our school, and now we're having it online. We adapted to our situation now. Evaporation. You guys know what evaporation means. Remember the word vapor right here? The process of changing from a liquid to a vapor. So it's what happens to a puddle. Before you study the mountain states, look at the map. Yes, we've already studied them. And we have 3 questions. Let's see, I'll tell you what you need to notice. You need to notice this Colorado River that we mentioned. It flows, look, what state is that? Colorado, of course, because it's called the Colorado. And it flows right here through Utah. And then into what state? Arizona. Okay, and our third question is, what state is west of Utah? Well, here's Utah, here's west. Wow, that one was a toughie. All right, now let's look at the geographical features of the mountain region. The geography of the mountain states is much different from that of the Midwestern states. Do you remember how flat they were and how good they were for farming? Where the Midwestern states are largely flat. Oh, look, it's exactly what I said. And good for planting crops. The mountain states are rugged and better suited for cattle grazing. You ever been to Colorado? Look at that. I got to see mountains like that once. It was so cool. The highest peak in this region is Mount Elbert in Colorado at 14,433 feet. The Rocky Mountains extend over 3,000 miles from Canada to the southern U.S. border. The Rocky Mountains also form the Continental Divide. That sounds like something they'll throw on a quiz or a test, don't you think? That is a beautiful picture. Let's look at section 3. The Continental Divide is an imaginary line, well, of course it is, that follows the highest peaks of the Rocky Mountains from the north to the south. The Continental Divide separates the streams that flow into the Pacific Ocean from those flowing into the Atlantic Ocean or Gulf of Mexico. The Colorado River forms on the western side of the Continental Divide and flows into the Pacific Ocean. The Missouri River forms on the eastern side of the Continental Divide and flows into the Gulf of Mexico. Now you know, because you've looked at maps with me, how far away the Atlantic is from this side of the map. It's way over there, right? And yet here is the Missouri that flows into the Mississippi that empties way over there into the Gulf of Mexico, which is in the Atlantic Ocean. But then right over here, on just the other side, you have the Colorado River, and it flows to the Pacific Ocean. So that's what they mean by Continental Divide. All rivers on this side, if they empty into an ocean, they empty into the Atlantic. And all rivers on this side empty into the Pacific. That's pretty cool. All right, section 4. The Great Salt Lake. I bet y'all have heard of that. Look at how beautiful that is. American avocets. I wonder if that's how you say that. Those are cute birds. The Great Salt Lake is found in Utah. It is the largest saltwater lake in the United States. In where? in the United States. It's the what? Largest saltwater lake in the United States. 4 rivers, 4, and numerous streams all flow into the Great Salt Lake. But this is where it gets the name Salt Lake. No rivers flow out of it. Because of this, evaporation is the only way in which water exits the lake. When water evaporates, it leaves behind salt and other minerals in the water. So the lake is much saltier than the ocean. Remember, we learned about the Dead Sea like that. Do you remember? Only a few animals can survive in the salty water. However, large populations of ducks, pelicans, and swans live around the lake. Visitors come to the lake for the beautiful beaches. They also enjoy swimming in the lake because of the salt makes it easy for people to float. One of the minerals harvested from the lake is table salt. So we now know a resource, at least in Utah, salt. All right, let's look at section 5, deserts. Saguaro. Remember learning about those last year, 4th graders? Saguaro cactus. The region is also home to deserts. One of the best known is the Sonoran Desert. It is found in southern Arizona and California. The desert also extends into Mexico. It receives about 10 to 12 inches of rain a year. While this doesn't sound like much, it's actually one of the wettest deserts in the whole world. Because the desert is hot and dry, animals and plants need to adapt. There's that word, remember, change, for the environment. Mountain lions, snakes, and lizards make their homes in the desert. A variety of plants also live in the desert. The saguaro cactus is a special type of cactus that makes its home in the desert. It is the largest cactus in the United States. What kind of cactus is the largest cactus in the US? The saguaro cactus. It grows slowly and it can live to be 200 years old. Oh my goodness. The cactus has shallow roots and stores water from when there isn't rain. In fact, the majority of the cactus plant is water. That's wild. That was a good lesson. Let me know if you have any questions when we meet.